Hey everybody. So I'm back for Love and Marriage Huntsville. First thing I want to say is I want to thank everybody who has subscribed to this channel, who watches the videos. And I'm kind of new to this thing. I'm only a few months in, but I really I don't want anybody to ever feel like I don't appreciate the support or whatever. And I want to make sure I said that. And happy Memorial Day weekend. And just a little Black History note, so y'all know, Memorial Day was started by newly freed African Americans about 3 or so years after the Civil War, particularly in South Carolina. Um, African Americans got together to commemorate the efforts of Black soldiers who fought for their freedom. Okay, Black people freed themselves. The country did not win the Civil War, and I say the country because the Confederacy was illegal, did not win the war until Black people got involved. Okay? Okay. We freed ourselves. All right. Number two, why do you think there's a Memorial Day and a Veterans Day? Should be the same thing, shouldn't it? Right, because Black people started, but when they whitewash history enough, you start thinking and believing, oh, it's about just the American. No, no. Black people did that on their own. So a little Black history moment before I delve into what I'm about to delve into with this foolishness. All right, so this is another review of Love and Marriage Huntsville Season 6 to Episode 8, Selec-Tiff Memory. Okay, so we start off with Mel. Let me tell y'all something. Mel is smart and slicker than everybody else because Mel said, let me tell you something, as long as I'm in this show, I'm going to get real silent with the foolishness, but y'all going to catch me as I make these coins. So Melody is showing people properties and how to look, how people can get into property preservation. And basically that's another way to make money as a form of business and to be an entrepreneur. And so she's basically showing these other young Black men how they can get into this multi-million-dollar industry, which is great. I think mentoring people, she was saying that she started thinking about once she left her marriage, things she could do on her own to continue to make money and be able to provide for her kids, but she's always thinking. And I'm not like an entrepreneur or anything like that, but I'm one of those people who's always thinking about new ways to teach kids, new ways, things I can read. And I respect that in anybody who does that in their line of work. So shout out to you, Mel, who was also a former teacher. Okay. So Kimmy shows up as she does that. Okay, Love Marriage Huntsville, I'm gonna need y'all to have better transitions. Okay, but shout out to Kimmy. Kimmy says she's trying to be pragmatic about her life right now. She said she's ready to get back in the workforce. So they are still talking about this damn tea Mel had that was a goddamn mess. Please don't talk about it no more. I don't want to hear this shit after no more episode. This is it. This is it. This is where we're gonna cut it. Kimmy and Mel talk about how she didn't know. They didn't know where the tension came from between Stormy's mother, and Mel. And Mel was like, I don't either. And quite frankly, I wouldn't even waste my energy on that. So Mel was like, Kiki and Tiffany fixed it though. She was like, I invited them over to my house the day after or whatever. Kimmy said, well, um, Mel was like, so have you seen them since? And Kimmy said, yeah, I have. They were actually at Martell's event, which happened after your intervention, and they were not having a good moment. And Kimmy said, they showed her in the confessional. She was like, look, I made sure not to mention Sheree to Mel. She said she has made it very clear that she doesn't want updates or to know what's going on in Martell's world. And she said, as a woman, she can respect that. And I was like, you know what, Kimmy? Thank you. Thank you. Now, Kimmy, at this point, you and Maurice should stop bringing up Mel every time y'all are in a confessional with something related to Martell or some other event. Okay? Otherwise, I love it. All right, so Kimmy is trying to keep her stress levels low because of her health. And I know that stress exacerbates breast cancer. Like I said, my mother is still going through it. She had her last round of chemo last week before her surgery at the end of June. She'll still have radiation and stuff after. But, I'm just grateful to God that she's made it this far and that there was a plan that it didn't take over her. And it's her second bout with it. So I'm just grateful to God. And so, Kimmy, God bless you. And I love the way Mel and Kimmy were supporting each other and respecting each other. That was a good scene. Before we get into the mess. All right. So we get Tiffany. Tiffany, when I tell you I hate your ugly block-shaped ass, and I'm not just saying that because you're pregnant. I'm not making fun of the fact that you're pregnant. I'm not body shaming you because you're pregnant. You were shaped like a fucking rectangle Gumby character block long before this, okay? So let me just be clear. But I don't like you, bitch. All right, so Tiffany is saying that she is confused about her and Kiki's tension at Martell's party. Bitch, are you fucking delusional? Anyway, so she said, I was confused about whose side Stormy was on. In other words, it wasn't clear to me that you were on my side. Okay, so she invites Stormy out for coffee. That's some fake shit already. But anyway, that's some fake shit already. Now, Tiffany started rolling her eyes as soon as she brought up Kiki in their conversation. Her conversation with Stormy. Then Stormy's messy ass was like, why you say it like that? Tiffany, cut it the fuck out. Saying shit like, I'm pregnant. I don't have time for that negativity. I don't have time for this. I don't have time for that. Bitch, you got nothing but time. Okay? Stormy was like, you and Kiki can't move on until it's all on the table. That's why I brought it up, this and the other. Is that how y'all's friend groups work? Maybe that's why my circle is small. First of all, I don't need to be getting into it with you over no petty shit. That's number one. As a grown woman, I just extract myself. I'm not here to argue with nobody over and over again. Let me tell you something. It'll be clear after that run-in, especially if I feel like it's an unnecessary run-in. I'm not even talking about like a political sort of, we're having a conversation about, abortion or the police. I mean, I can't rock with people. But never mind. I'm talking about that kind of petty, weak shit. I don't trust bitches like that. And she was like, well, y'all can't move on till y'all put everything out on the table. No, the fuck you don't. It's the same thing like when you're in a romantic relationship. Everything doesn't always need to be out on the table. Some shit you just need to move on from. Some shit is just going to piss you off again. That is why you have boyfriends who just apologize when you're upset just so y'all can move on. Even if you don't mean it. Sometimes shit is just better left alone. And this shit is not even deep like that. The fuck out of here. Tiffany, you are one delusional bitch. Okay? As much as Stormy is a fake bitch. Hello. So Tiffany said you had a conversation that you think... Tiffany, for you to say you had a conversation with Sheree that you thought was positive... After all that bullshit from the night before, you need your ass whooped. And you were long overdue. And let me tell you something. You being pregnant, and I got to give it to the cast. Because everybody that wants to go off when you keep saying, I know you pregnant. I want to increase her stress levels. But you the one going around here creating stress. Okay? Ain't nobody ever died because they got cursed out pregnant. I don't think so, at least. Anyway, so you know damn well that wasn't positive. You were rude. You were messy. And you were doing that on purpose. I can't believe you're somebody's mother and are about to be somebody else's mother. You've shown no growth. You have as much class as that woman that was cursing somebody out at the Little Mermaid. Like, just all this shit. Just ratchet reckless. Okay? So Tiffany is having a conversation with Stormy about how she is concerned that Mel and Sheree haven't spent time together for the kids. Why the fuck are you worried about Mel's kids? Why the fuck are you worried about Mel and Martell's kids? This isn't Miss Marlene. This isn't Mel's mama. Who the fuck is you? Girl, by you. Child. You got me speaking all kinds of bad English. All right. So anyway. Why are you discussing this with Stormy at all? Let alone because you haven't discussed it with Mel. Or Martell for that matter. So this is not your business and it damn sure ain't about them kids. Because then you'd be talking to their parents. So Stormy was like, well, I wouldn't let that worry me. And I was thinking to myself, well, Stormy, you let plenty of other bullshit worry you. But in other words, that was her way of saying, I don't give a fuck. And you shouldn't. So then Stormy goes, do you think Mel actually even wants to meet Sheree? And Tiffany says, I've never spoken to Mel about Sheree. So Stormy calls her on it. It was like, so then why are you talking to Sheree about Mel? Because Mel's supposed to be your friend. And that was a good point. Because you coming off... That kind of shit can get misconstrued and then it comes off like Mel sent you. Okay? And then she continued telling Stormy about the questions she asked Sheree. And Stormy was like, that's a lot to ask for somebody you don't know. That bitch sat there and said, not really. And then she said, I'm nosy. I want to know. Fuck being nosy. You rude as fuck. Period. You rude. And people only gonna tell you what they want you to know any goddamn way. So it ain't like, oh, you gonna get to the bottom of it, bitch. Get the fuck out of here. So Stormy and Mel haven't talked. I don't care. I would never be friends with that bitch. She looks like a Oompa Loompa with a witch's nose, and I'm over it. Okay, Tisha. We get Tisha and Kiki in the car. Okay, on their way to the basketball game at Alabama A&M near alma mater. Shout out to the HBCU family. All right. Anyway, so Kiki checks Tisha about her sending the text, and they got into it. Kiki and Tiffany got into it about Martell's party. Tisha was like, look, I was just defending you. I was like, this is why Kiki's upset. So they talked about it, whatever. But they were basically comparing notes about Tiffany and how she's talked shit about both of them. And a lot of this stuff came through Stormy. But Stormy can deliver it because Tiffany is saying it. Okay? I was over it. So Tiffany, somebody need to show up to your baby shower and whoop your ass with a blue bottle-shaped pinata. I'm sorry. Ain't nobody gonna get hurt that bad. It is not gonna hit your child. Somebody smack you across the face with a pinata because we know you deserve it. Anyway, meanwhile, we hear rumors that Tiffany is out here cheating on her husband. I believe it. I don't even have no proof. But I can believe those kind of rumors because I think it is very likely anybody who gets in other people's business the way Tiffany does. I'm not talking about somebody gossiping here or gossiping there. I'm not even talking about that kind of shit. But the way she gets in other people's business and draws attention to it constantly, every mistake they make, I'm just like, people who do that because they're trying to distract you from how fucked up their life is. Okay? Seen that game played before, bitch. Anyway, so Tiff and Big Lou at the doctor. Their son is going to be named Ace. So apparently Real Housewives of Atlanta is trading cast members with Love and Marriage Huntsville, as well as baby names. Moving on. So he starts talking to Tiffany and about how the baby is coming and she's still busy. First of all, Lou and Tiffany miss us with this bullshit storyline of a busy woman who can't slow down. I'm going to tell you who's busy. Mel, when she had that fourth child and Mel got an epidural, was on that labor bed on the computer working. I said, woo, child. Talk about somebody just working. Okay, that's different. Okay, that's different. And Martell, at least, we can give him that he is very helpful in terms of being hands-on with the actual physical children. Okay? We know he falls short in other places. However, Tiffany is not busy. Tiffany don't have nothing but time. That's why she in everybody else's business. Bitch, why did you get pregnant? Because you got pregnant on purpose. And then not to prepare for the time needed to heal and take care of the baby that you have, it's some bullshit. It's some bullshit. It's not 24-year-old young woman or hell, 32-year-old, maybe, you're not married and, it happened and, it's on its way. I'm not even talking about that. Okay? I think maybe she had one to keep him. Not that Lou is anybody to be kept. He's not fine or anything like that. But anybody who plans a wedding without the groom knowing that there's going to be a wedding at a baseball field, I think is the kind of person who would have a baby just because you think that would just kind of keep him around as you do what you like to do. Catch, since you want to call Martell out. Okay? Anyway, because honestly, I think she's very detached from this whole experience. The way she's going around talking about people know. You know when you are pregnant, you are not supposed to be talking about people like that. Because anything can come out wrong with your baby and that kind of thing. And you do not want that to happen. Okay, now that's something I know from way, all my life was always taught. You don't talk bad about nobody, especially not while you're pregnant. You don't tease nobody, especially while you're pregnant. And the shit you doing, you just seem like you don't give a fuck what happens. And you have maternity leave. Not just to take care of the baby, although that's a big part of it, but also so your body can heal after giving birth to an entire human. Okay? So miss me with the I'm building a business that we don't ever see you doing and it's not believable. Both you and Big Blue act like y'all retired and y'all in y'all's prime. Anyway, excuse me. So Kimmy and Maurice talking about Martell's event that we don't give a fuck about. We tired of everybody talking about it. All right, it came and it went. He lived and died. So Kimmy and Sheree, Kimmy said Sheree was really quiet. She probably was. And he was like, yeah, that's the difference seeing somebody on TV and then meeting them. That maybe not what you thought. But I was thinking myself, she didn't know any of them. And it wasn't like Martell was doing what you're supposed to do when you have like a guest, like you're introducing them to people and trying to, So, yeah. So I am so tired. To speak while I was watching the scene, watching Kimmy do the dishes, everything else. I am so tired of watching black women do everything in their fucking household when they're married. Period. I'm tired of looking at it. It's old. While the father doesn't reinforce anything or occasionally re-emphasizes the rules or occasionally puts a dish in the dishwasher, Maurice, to try to pretend like you set an example for Monster. Do you really think we that goddamn stupid? Do you think Monster's that stupid? Kimmy damn sure ain't that stupid. Like, anyway, so Monster is in boot camp. It's a little unclear to me whether this is during the summer or regular school. Like, I'm not understanding. Is he staying at home? Is he like, what? Like, what's happening? He's apparently not learning anything in boot camp other than the fact he has to get up early. He has a list of goals, 20 of them. He can't remember it all for the most part. The goal of one of Monster's goals is to keep a 3.0 GPA. Now, I know this was probably the way I was raised, and I was raised in a very strict home, but a 3.0 isn't high enough. I'm sorry, I don't. Not in high school. School is your life. College can fluctuate. The level of difficulty is different. What the fuck? All right? Anyway, that's just my opinion. Okay. So, y'all stop putting Monster on camera, okay? And send him back to Kiowa. I kind of wish y'all would give him a new nickname too, but that's just me. As far as I'm concerned, y'all should send him back to Kiowa because it's giving, Maurice, that you're falling short. It's giving you wanted your son to be raised by Kimmy and not Kiowa during his teenage years. That's what it's giving because you aren't playing a clear enough role in that boy's life after you advocated for him to come down there. It's So then we get Marceau, Martell, and Tiffany, the main event, honey. So Marceau and Martell are at Black trying to help each other study and help. And then Martell is trying to help Marceau lose weight. So Martell said he was waiting on Tiffany because they were going to discuss something called, I don't know if it was for Jubilee or for Juneteenth, and there was some event in Selma or whatever. And they were just like brainstorming ideas. So it was supposed to be very relaxed, but he told her to meet him there, right? Martell said, oh, hey, there y'all are. And I thought Lewis was behind her, but he was saying that because she was and he was like, no, y'all are definitely two people. So Martell asked them, and, Marcel was like, oh, I couldn't even tell you were pregnant in that black dress. And I was thinking to myself, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I'm sure Marcel didn't mean it as a bad thing, but if you can't tell from when I wasn't pregnant, I don't know how you... I'm a big girl, so I'm sensitive about things like that. Anyway, so Martell asked them about his upscale party. Martell was building up, though, basically asking them just what they thought about it. Martell was building up to asking Tiffany about what she did to Sheree. He was building. So Sheree had, of course, we saw last episode, told him about the conversation with Tiffany, how it was uncomfortable and intrusive. Honestly, Tiffany, you fucked up. And you knew you had fucked up by the way you started looking around as soon as Martell brought it up. You already knew you had done something wrong. And you knew you were doing something wrong when you did it. Cut the shit. That's what's really on my goddamn nerves too. Acting like you don't know when you know. So she said, well, you knew I was nosy. I got grilled coming into this group. No, you came into this group and you were a complete bitch. Okay? Sheree is not a cast member. And Martell was right. When Martell said no, Sheree was my guest. And as a fucking friend, although I don't think Tiffany has any idea what a friend is, hell, as a guest to someone's party, that is not what you do. There is no way in hell. So when Marceau was like, what's going on? I'm honestly surprised Martell hadn't told him all about this before. He would have known if Tisha had a front row seat because, them two be gossiping something vicious. So she basically repeated all the questions she asked Sheree. She said she asked Sheree, how does it feel to be with a cheater? And Martell, now, Sheree had told him, but it was like Martell was getting, upset again. And he was like, I'm not a cheater. And then you hear that little sound effect like, they said wrong for that. And he said, are you a cheater? She said, no. He said, then I'm not. And I was thinking to myself, well, if she running around with people in the street and she says she's not a cheater, then hell, Martell isn't either. But that's not what Martell meant. Martell was like, no, I cheated. Okay, that's the difference. Shit, that's the most honest you've been, Martell. Maybe you start being honest like that, we can stop hating you so much. But nevertheless, I was on your side for this because you was absolutely right. Tiffany, how dare you be offended that Martell brought this up in front of Marceau? First of all, it's Marceau's fucking restaurant. Okay, so you knew you weren't gonna just be discussing business like Marceau don't belong there. He is at Black. That's their shit. Anyway, two, you didn't care about who you brought that up in front of. You did that to Sheree in front of the camera. Cut it out. Cut it out. Cut it out. Okay? It's too late for niceties at this point. Okay? Bitch, what you did was fucked up. And so fucked up, what makes it even more fucked up was that you were bragging about all the questions you asked Sheree in other scenes, i.e. the one with Stormy at the coffee shop, about how you asked these questions. You deserve to be checked. And honestly, keeping it real, Martell handled this a whole lot better than I thought. Martell actually seemed aggravated. Martell didn't do that shit he normally does when he starts screaming all over you because he don't want to hear the truth. Like, Martell was like, me and Mel aren't talking. So why would I introduce Sheree into that? Me and Mel have our own stuff. And at that point, I felt like Martell was still explaining too much to Tiffany. Even that much isn't her business. She has been crossed the line. So Marceau says, honestly, I think Tiffany's pregnancy has saved her. He said, because she would have gotten physical at the least. Talking to Sheree like that. And that's based off watching the show. But honestly, like I said last week, hell, I don't think Love Marriage Huntsville can pay Sheree enough to be fighting her. But she deserved to get her fucking ass whooped, is what the fuck she did. And that pregnancy has saved her. And she has not changed. Okay? From them non-pregnant seasons. Anyway, Martell was asking very clear questions. Like I said, Martell actually handles a lot better. And he said, you're trying to break us up before we even get to that point in our relationship. Then Martell said, you need to get checked for being a Karen. She was like, why? Because I'm half white? And I was like, yes, bitch. And also because you act like one. That's why. No, you don't get that kind of grace. No, we're not going to worry about, oh, you biracial, but you black. And then you go around doing that white girl shit, not expecting to get your ass whooped. No, sorry, I don't feel for you. Ooh. I can't stand her. And she's such a liar. Then she go back to Big Lou with the shit because she afraid before Martell gets back there. And good thing Martell had you know what? It's actually better now I'm thinking about it. Because typically I wouldn't beef it like two men getting into it. Because remember that time Marcel and Mel got into it? And it was just them? I mean, it was a camera crew, but it was just them. Because Martell needs a witness because Tiffany lies. And she gonna go back and tell Big Lou and he gonna get all up in his shoulders about some bullshit. Anyway, I'll see y'all next week. Y'all have a great Memorial Day weekend. See y'all soon. Bye.